I'm giving you a report, and this is far, far reaching than a police report, because at this moment we don't have any police report. It's 1.5 months going to be, and there is no clue what happened to Sushant Singh Rajput, how he was killed. But I am giving you the report which no court of law will defy, deny, or not agree with it. It's a doctor's report of the crime. This is a crime report, and now I am going to give you the report of what happened on 13th June 2020 in the flat of Sushant Singh Rajput, and he was killed on 13th June 2020. This fact cannot be denied by any person on this earth. First of all, there is no clue where was Riya Chakravarti on 13th June 2020. Okay? The CCTV camera were not working. They were rendered inoperative. These are all part of the crime to kill Sushant Singh Rajput. The duplicate keys of flat of Sushant Singh Rajput were in custody of Riya Chakravarti and were missing. They were told to be missing, not actually missing. It was in the hands of the criminals. And on 13th June 2020, there was a party at night in the flat of Sushant Singh Rajput. There is no clue at all who came in, who went out of the flat on 13th of June. There is no clue who attended the party at night in the flat of Sushant Singh Rajput. There is no clue what was served in the party. There is no clue whether alcohol was given or possibly some kind of drug was given to Sushant Singh Rajput so that he loses his strength, his mental strength, his physical strength to fight against the assault which he was subjected to kill him. So, it is very apparent that after the party, Sushant Singh Rajput was killed by strangulation in the night of 13th June itself. There is no evidence of Sushant Singh Rajput being killed on 14th of June 2020. There is no evidence. There is no evidence on which one can declare that Sushant Singh Rajput was alive till 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Not at all. He was killed on 13th June night itself. Before the strangulation, Sushant Singh Rajput was brutally assaulted in the night of 13th June 2020. His dead body shows following injuries of brutal assault on his body, and which took place on the night of June 13th. And these injuries are assault injuries. And how can the police or the media or whosoever says there was no injuries on his body? First of all, there is a black eye due to punch on his left eye by a right-handed criminal. And it can be visible in all the photographs of his dead body. And at the end of this video, I can present that photo with a black eye of his left eye. It takes 18 to 20 hours to develop black eye after a heavy punch. So it was not developed on 14th of June. It was developed at least 20 hours before the photography of his dead body. So it has to be done on 13th June night. Second injury, there has been a strangulation injury on his neck about 18 centimeter long and 1.5 centimeter in width and about 1.5 inches below the upper end of his neck. It is not just at the upper end of neck but 1.5 inches below below the upper end of the neck. Running horizontally is not inclined towards the back of the ear or upper neck at all. It ends sharply at the middle of the left side of his neck. The upper end and the lower margin, the upper and the lower margins are very sharp, as if Sushant Singh Rajput was strangulated with an iron rod of 1.2 centimeter, 1.5 centimeter in diameter. There is no ligature mark at all at any side of his neck. There is a round mark which is 1.5 inches below. So the ligature mark cannot be below ligature mark cannot be below the strangulation mark. Never, it cannot happen. The knot on the rope has to be, the ligature on the rope has to be at the level of the rope. It cannot jump 1.5 inches lower. There is no intact skin interrupting the entire length of the strangulation injuries. In case of hanging, there is rupture of skin interrupted by hemorrhaging injuries due to shearing force of the weight of the hanging of the body. Sushant Singh Rajput was not murdered by hanging. He was murdered by strangulation by using great force from front. The surface of the strangulation injury is purplish red throughout its length, and it is furrowed deep below the surface of the skin. And there is a marked edema that is called swelling due to strangulation. Slight edema on the face of Sushant Singh Rajput. This purple red coloration of strangulation injury must have taken 18 to 20 hours at least to develop. So it was done, strangulation was done in the night of 13th June 2020. Definitely. No doctor, no pathologist, no jurisprudent expert can deny this fact. Number 3, there has been a very conspicuous round black colored injury mark 2.5 centimeter in diameter, about 1.5 centimeter below the left end of the strangulation injury mark at the middle of the left side of his neck is here. It is due to blunt injury by hard blunt rod's end or some blunt object. Black coloration, again the black coloration has taken at least 18 to 20 hours to develop. So these marks are produced by injuries and at least 18 to 20 hours prior to photography of the dead body. It has to be on 13th June 2020, night or maybe earlier than night. Why it takes 18 to 20 hours for the black color or the purple color to develop in any injuries? Now I am giving you a pathological evidence, a pathological fact which no one can deny. There is no scientific ground to deny it. Due to injuries with severe uh, force of assault, these blackish, purplish, red coloration of injuries uh, develop. After fine capillaries are damaged, red blood cells ooze out and get extravasated in the tissue around. In due course of time, these red blood cells degenerate and get disintegrated. They break down. And after breaking down, the hemoglobin part of the red blood cells, it has got iron and heme molecule. Heme is protein and iron is a metal. This iron metal takes its black coloration. And these iron molecules, give black coloration to the tissue. The black pigmentation, black coloration of the injury marks is all due to this iron particle after disintegration of the red blood cells. Where less number of red cells are extravasated in the tissue, the coloration of the injury will be purplish red. It will take 18 to 20 hours for skin injuries to turn to black or purple. Then, number 4, black eye of left eye, the strangulation injury of the neck, and the black injury below the strangulation injury on the left side of the neck are severe injuries by brutal assaults on 13th June at night. They are not caused by, hanging 2-3 hours of, hanging for 2-3 hours on 14th June 2020. Moreover, there is a pink bruise of 3 centimeters in length on the right forearm of Sushant Singh Rajput on the medial side of the forearm. A linear one developed due to resistance raised by Sushant Singh Rajput against his killing just before his murder in the night of 13th June. So there are these 4 visible injuries marked, and there may be more injuries marked under his shirt, which we have got no clue. Number 6, the photographs of face of the dead body of Sushant Singh Rajput reveal that his sharp features. It's a very important point. Please, give enough attention to this, finding that the photographs of the face of the dead body of Sushant Singh Rajput has lost its, sharpness of his features, his very conspicuous, features, and they are totally blurred out. The face has lost its original configuration due to long period of time having been elapsed between his death and the photography. What happens after death? The dead facial muscles and the soft tissue of his face have lost its tone and texture due to degenerative changes of a very long time, which elapsed between its death and photography. So it was not, when somebody dies in 2-3 hours, his facial features don't change at all. So this body is an old one, and the tissues have developed marked degenerative changes, the facial muscles and the fibrous tissue. After committing murder, the criminals have used them. So once they have killed him, so after killing him, these criminals have used the mobile phone of Sushant Singh Rajput to make 2 calls, one to Riya Chakravarti and one to himself, to absolve himself from the crime by proving that they were not at the site of the crime and they had no clue, and to show that Sushant Singh Rajput was alive at 12 o'clock at midnight, and police has not taken fingerprints of the mobile of the Sushant Singh Rajput on the 14th June 2020. There is no clue. Their fingerprints have not been taken from the mobile of the Sushant Singh Rajput. So these are the events which took place in the flat of Sushant Singh Rajput in the night of 13th June 2020. He was killed. The party was there. At the end of the party, he was killed and left. So in the next video, I am going to give a report what happened on 14th June 2020 in the flat of Sushant Singh Rajput